Evolution, not revolution. How data and technology are changing media is up next. Please welcome from Amnet, part of the Dentsu Aegis Network, Global President Ashwini Karandikar.
Hello. Hi. Before I start, I want to thank Kim for giving me the opportunity to participate in this wonderful event. And I want to thank Helma from Postoscope to allowing me to tag along with her. I think we've heard a lot about data and technology and how it's changing and how out-of-home is changing and all that good stuff. What I want to do today is kind of take you through an evolution of how we even got here and where media is going, whether we like it or not, and how we can collectively participate in where we want to take it together. Yesterday's OB Awards were very insightful and telling for me because there's this notion that there isn't enough innovation within out-of-home. That's not true. There is more innovation than all of us can keep up with. It's only a question of how do we adapt it and adopt it as we move along. So, long time ago, far, far away, we first had billboards, we had static advertising, we had advertising that evolved and moved slowly. So from traditional to TV to online, it took about 100 years for things to evolve. And then we went into this, a data vortex that just gobbled all of us together. And now display looks something like this. This is online video, this is mobile, this is social. Oh my God. Like, what happened? What happened? We knew what was happening. We had control over the whole ecosystem, and suddenly we are in these things that make no sense to us. There are vendors and functionalities and there's this stuff coming at us at a pace that we don't know how to handle. And so how did we get here? Michael Walsh said this beautifully yesterday during his keynote. We are moving from proxies using places, locations as proxies for audiences to actually targeting audiences. It's moving from impressions to people. It's figuring out what those people want, what I want, what you want, what all of us want, and figuring out how to give it to them. So instead of assuming that just because I visit a specific site or I read a specific publication, I must be like this. Instead of that, asking me what I want and then showing it to me in a way that I want to see it in. And I think that is the biggest change that's happening right now is I, as a consumer, am now telling you how I want to be spoken to, addressed to, communicated with. And at this point, outside of the small element of digital, the rest of the media world is still kind of catching up. Because there are legacy systems that we need to still kind of evolve to figure out how to talk to me the way I want to be spoken with. And so the second, and I think the biggest fundamental change that has really transformed media completely, and this genie is not going back, it's out of the bottle now, is that as a brand, I now have a choice to decide what I want to pay for the audience. So I no longer have to be stuck to a fixed CPM. I can decide that if a specific audience is super valuable to me, I am willing to pay 10 times the standard CPM just to bring that audience into my business. But if a specific audience is not, I don't want to pay anything for that audience. Today, we have to pay one fixed price no matter who we are trying to reach. But I would like to make that change. So within the digital, display online video ecosystem, this is possible now. I can choose and I can decide what I want to pay to show my message to a specific consumer. And that this same change is now slowly moving into the non-digital space, where within TV, within radio, within out-of-home, when it comes to mobile, you can decide what you want to How much do you want to be in front of that given consumer? So these two fundamental changes are changing the landscape, and they will only continue changing the landscape. What we all carry around with us, this is not going away. We are never not going to have this with us anymore. So I would like for you to message me on this when I want to see that message, instead of you deciding when you want to show it to me, you, the brand. And so, this whole notion of programmatic buying as a concept has been around for maybe 10 years, lesser, but who the heck knows what it is? If you ask anyone in this room, you will get 15 different definitions, and that's because we have made it like that. We have called, it's become this bucket for all these terms. It's real-time bidding, it's audience targeting, it's cheap media, it's targeted media, and this is only in the US. Now you go outside in the other countries, and it becomes a whole different ballgame. Instead of that, honestly, what programmatic media is, and this definition applies to all media types, not just digital, is it is people making use of audience data that they have access to, using technology, because the plethora of data that's coming at us right now, it is impossible to digest it without some kind of machines helping us figure out what it is. So it's audience data on the one hand, it's technology on the other hand, but the main thing that is driving this change is people who understand understand whom we are trying to reach and understand how we want to reach them. Without people, none of this is going to be possible. So programmatic media is not machines talking to machines and making decisions for humans. We are so far away from it right now. And I'm not even sure if we're going to get there. Because all the creatives that you saw yesterday during the awards, McDonald's fries going, crying or laughing, a machine can't figure out the difference between those two. Humans can. Like before McDonald's and after McDonald's, there's a smile on my face. There isn't a bot who can figure that out. A human can. So then how do you understand and plan how you want to relate to that consumer? Is it before, when he's frowning, or when he is smiling? Where do you want to be? Only a human can do that. And honestly, that is programmatic media buying. It is using data and it is using technology to understand when to reach that consumer. And so this thing, and here, the story behind this, so I know Terry Kawaja, who is the creator of the Loom Escape. He didn't draw this for all of us. He actually created these for himself. He's an investment banker. He created this so he could make sense of how to invest in businesses. And at one of the conferences, he showed this, and now this has become the Bible for us. Like, everything is now in these forms. And when you look at it, like, oh my God, what should we do with it? This makes no sense to us. So what this really does become is a very simple diagram. It is audience and its technology. So where you see the data management platform, and on the panel before me, you heard about the DMP, and you heard about, the need to bring in data in one place, et cetera, et cetera. So you have data on one hand, you get your audience insights, you figure out what it is that you want to do and whom do you want to get to, and then it's the whole buying part. Today, programmatic media buying, unfortunately, all the discussion is just on that tech side. But technology is useless if you don't know what you're going to do with it. Whom are you going to reach? What are you going to say to them? What is the message that you want to get to them? Tech can't decide that. The data can tell you how to get there. So this thing is, and I closed it, I don't know what I did. Oh, sorry. This thing is this. It is data and tech together, but making sense of how to reach that consumer. And what's driving this change? It's all great that we have data, we have tech, we can do all of this stuff. Look at this family. This is how my family is right now. There's an ad on the TV back there. No one is watching it. The mom is on the phone. The kids are doing their own thing. The husband is, watching something on his own laptop. Whom are we playing this ad for on the TV set? Who is seeing it? And so this is what's happening to brands right now. Today we spend 50+% of our dollars on that TV set that no one is watching. And so the whole point about, and you could almost relate this to out of home as well. We have these beautiful messages, but who's seeing them? I am doing this when I'm walking to the subway station. I don't even see what's happening there. So then why don't you show me the same message here and link with me the way I'm seeing it? That's the whole point of why we are moving to this phase that we are. And this change that we are seeing is honestly not really new. I mean, 30 years ago, travel agents were, there was a full industry of travel agents who booked travel for us. There were, I mean, even 5, 10 years ago, you heard about all these stock trades and people trading and yelling at each other and whatnot. They are gone. I don't know who calls a travel agent anymore. I go to Expedia and book travel. For financial industries, most of the base trading, it happens through e-trade. If it's a multi-million-dollar stuff, then yeah, sure, you call your financial analyst. And I think that's where the advertising industry media is kind of going towards, is for the base stuff, we are going to use more and more technology to make it easier, simpler, more efficient. For the curated sponsorships, for the brand launches, for specific messaging, we are going to need people to make sense of when to show what. And so, along with that, the biggest thing that's really transforming our world inside out is data. All of us are creating data. Every time you click a button, every time you see something on Facebook, every time you Snapchat, every time you do anything, and we are all doing it, whether we admit it or not, it is creating data. It is creating stuff and data that brands are collecting and gathering, but they're not sure what to do with it. We're just in this rush to collect without figuring out what's the thread through it. So the third from left, second screen. 5 years ago, second screen was a hobby. It was good to have something on TV and then have something following it on mobile. Today, it's a must to have. Everyone is reacting to your spot on social media. And I think yesterday's Creative Awards kind of showed the same. Everyone is reacting to your out-of-home messages on social media. They're taking pictures, posting on Facebook, Snapchatting it, tweeting it. It is going viral through social media. So the whole point of second screen and being able to capture that on multiple screens is a must. It's not a choice right now. And the last, that woman shopping for stuff in the department store, that's how I shop. I go to the store, I pick up a product. If I don't know what it is, I go search for it online. If I don't like what I see, I walk away. So it's no longer just bringing me in the store. That's not enough. You have to convince me last minute that this is exactly the product that I want. That is where I think social media, out of home technically plays the most pivotal role, because anything that is out of home is now this. You control this. You control how to message me when I'm outside my house. And there are hundreds of ways of trying to connect your message on this with me when I'm in the store. It's out of home. Why can't we? I think the ask from the out of home industry is not to let go of your brilliance or let go of the ability to message at scale. It is to evolve the messaging to the way I want to see it now. So I now want to see your brilliant images on this, make it happen. And right now I think that is, from the outside, that's the challenge I see, is those beautiful graphic images. How do you show it on this? It doesn't look pretty right now, but we will figure out a way to make it pretty on this. And so when I don't click, it moves. So no matter what we talk about technology, it won't matter. There you go. Sorry. So here's our view on where we see media moving overall. I'll just go from right to left very quickly, and I'll speak about out of home. So display, online video, it's automated to a large extent. Mobile is pretty much the first channel which is becoming a non-cookie based channel, where having a constant user ID across multiple channels is becoming more and more important. Social, radio, publishing, they're all going through their own evolutions. Spotify and Pandora and iHeartRadio, all of these different elements are simply a representation of how we want to listen to our music. I want to curate my own albums, I want to listen to them when I want to listen to them. And in a lot of these non-digital channels, programmatic doesn't necessarily mean real-time bidding. That concept cannot really translate to everything. Programmatic media to a large extent could also mean automating the processes on the back end. So making it easier to transact, making it more efficient to transact. So it does not take 3 months for an idea to become a concept on some kind of medium or outlet or wall or what have you. So to a large extent where I see out-of-home slowly evolving is the back-end processes being automated and it being able to connect across multiple devices, because every time I'm out of home, I am carrying a mobile device with me. Being able to connect my behavior from the big screen to my TV to my mobile, that is being able to connect the dots for me as I as a consumer consume your message. And then there's TV. If you have been reading the press, you would feel as if TV is 100% programmatic. There is nothing further away from the truth. It's not. What is happening to TV is it is morphing into a multi-device medium. So I can watch House of Cards on the screen on my wall or on the screen in my hand or a tablet that I'm at work with. It's still the same show, it's still the same content, it's still the same connection with the consumer. It's just shown differently. That doesn't mean TV is gone. TV is actually going into many more different device types instead of being stuck on the wall. And I think out-of-home is sort of evolving in the same way. It is no longer stuck to a location. It is kind of evolving into these multi-device formats. And so that's why, evolution, not revolution. I don't think we are asking to completely turn the out-of-home industry upside down. It's not possible. There is tremendous value in these images that make an emotional connection. That cannot be taken away. But what we do need to do is evolve how we are distributing those messages. And so for us, in order to evolve, I think all the partners in this entire ecosystem have to develop, have to evolve, have to figure out how they can move forward. So for the publishers, I would say, become willing partners. Your inventory and your premium inventory is arguably the most valuable asset in this whole ecosystem. But it can't be fixed in a location. It has to move with the consumer. If the consumer is moving, you need to be able to move with it. And so be willing partners in figuring out how you can make that move. And honestly, one of the biggest things that we all need collectively is better measurement systems. We have to be able to measure how cross-device, multi-device, whatever you want to call it, how is that actually resulting in better sales or better revenue or better output or better outcomes? Because if we can't prove that, it doesn't matter how beautiful our creative is or how we are showing it or where we are showing it. For the agencies, I would say, and I'm part of an agency holding group, we have to collaborate better. We can't live in our little silos of saying, I'm search, I'm this, I'm that. It's meaningless. In this day and age, no one is thinking of search as a silo. It's all in my hand. So how do the agency teams on our side want to collaborate better in order to close that gap? For the advertisers and for the brands, I think we really need the help in dismantling their internal silos, because we could come up with the best ideas in the world. If the budgets are stuck in pockets, it's pointless. What's the point of the idea if I can't implement it? And again, partner to create better measurement systems, because if the brands don't like and accept those measurement systems, there is no way to prove the effectiveness of all of these media channels, types, what have you, coming together. And for technology partners, having lived through the whole programmatic ecosystem for the last 6, 7, 10 years, technology doesn't define programmatic. People do. Technology makes it easier, enables it to happen. And so tech partners have to work with publishers, with agencies, with brands to collectively drive efficiency through the whole system. And so, what will all of this hopefully give us? This doesn't look like it, but it's a screenshot from Japan, where we ran a test where we could control thousands of digital screens from a Google console. That is slowly where I think we are moving to is, the displays and the outputs are still at scale. They are still at the locations where people are used to seeing them. The messaging is now controlled almost in real time based on how I'm able to feed it into the screens. This is where we're slowly going. This is where I think the evolution will happen is, and then you can easily take this concept and move it across multiple devices. To me, the screen is just a device. It's a very big fixed device. Well, now I can take it to multiple devices. And so to some extent, we are kind of redefining out-of-home. I think it was last week or when I heard about Google wanting to bid for connected cities. Well, this once a partner or a vendor like Google gets into connecting cities, or IBM gets into it, or Cisco gets into it, or whoever gets into it, well, then the network and the fiber is set up. Then there is no stopping. Not thank you as yet. Oh, then there's no stopping this. If I have the infrastructure, if I have the piping to make this happen, then why would I not do it? I am able to take my message anywhere I want, connect it, track it, sell it, blah, 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 do it then. So where out-of-home is slowly going is, these four large infrastructure partners. What I didn't include here is companies like IBM or Cisco, or the really humongous players in the background that are piping the world for us. You can easily add them to the outside circle. They are now slowly powering these different touch points across the board. And then the actual location simply becomes one outlet to display your message in or at. And with that, I am going to say thank you. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them. If not, then thank you for listening to me.